Do most of the men that you talk to feel like, I've heard this a lot, that men take ownership of their issues, but women don't? That women don't take accountability?
Hey, look, there's two sets of rules,
Our producer
man.
just set up. Our producer just set up like what you say.
None, man. Hello, everybody. Welcome to PowerUP with Keith Withrow. We're back at you with some more great content. And tonight we have been blessed with Dr. Torre. And we've gone over some great stuff, and we told you we'd be back with some great content on some more relationship stuff. So buckle up, get ready, because here we go. Hey, Dr. Torre.
Hey, Keith.
This is my sister, y'all. So that's why we flow like we do. It's almost like we're brother and sister for real. Just so you all know, we have been tight, and we've known each other since high school. We didn't get tight to be, we became adults, and we reconnected. But we have a long history, and you know what? Again, this is my sister. My sister, my doctor. I lay on her sofa sometimes, so let's get with it.
Let's get with it. Let's get with it. Hey, fam. Glad to be back, Keith. Thank you for having me back. It's always a pleasure to be here. As he said, you know, we have had some really great episodes and some great content. We're just going to extend it a little bit today. And so we're just going to jump right in it. Now, ladies, I don't want y'all upset with me tonight. I'm trying to actually give some knowledge and some insight to you guys. But tonight we're going to be focusing on men. We're going to be focusing on some things pertaining to married men and emotional availability. So please just kind of hang tight. I want to put a disclaimer out here also. If he, meaning Keith, says something that you don't agree with, it doesn't mean it's not true. A lot of times we as men and women, because we have our own beliefs and our own opinions, when we hear something from the opposite sex and it doesn't resonate, we automatically, you know, we deny it. We say it's not true. We're talking our personal truths tonight. So please sit, learn, and actually be open to the information that you're going to get tonight.
Absolutely. We're just going to be transparent. These are no digs thrown at anybody, anything like that. We just want to be transparent. And when I speak, I'm going to do my disclaimer as well. When I speak and I talk about how we feel as men, this is from me talking to other men, having conversations, candid conversations. And I think I can pretty much represent a vast majority of men, especially probably from my age bracket are probably older. Some of the younger ones kind of come from a different angle, but I think we can probably make an assessment that I'm going to be pretty much speaking on the vast majority of married, mature men.
I like that.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something. You know, I know you have your Power Up with Keith Withrow show,
Yep.
but I know you also do male groups.
Yes.
Tell a little bit about that, and tell me a little bit about like the men in the group and how it kind of came to be.
Absolutely. We actually did a show. It's actually entitled "The Story," and it actually talks about how we came into existence. But anyway, it's called Power Up. Power Up, man. And I actually thought about making and developing this group actually when I was actually a single man, when I had gone through a divorce. That was a very tumultuous time for me, and it was a very difficult time. And actually, Torre was actually close to me when I went through that. And as I began to matriculate and go through all the hurt and pain and get my feet back on solid ground and get myself back together, when I began to meet ladies, I found that not just the ladies, but me as well, being mature, everybody had a certain amount of baggage that they were carrying. You would meet great people, but they would have all this baggage, and sometimes the baggage was just getting away. So during that time, I said, you know what, it would be good to have some sort of a platform where you could talk about some of the things as it relates to men and some of the things and the baggage that we carry that we just don't feel comfortable speaking about.
Yes.
And we'll get into some of the dynamics as to why men shut down and won't speak about it, and why it's so important that we have other men that we can talk to in a comfortable environment where we can unpack these things. So what we did, we created that environment to where men could come in a safe space and we could actually let our hair down. But first of all, we take the mask off, because us men, what we do is we measure, and all humans do, but us men especially, we'll measure each other up on how much we make, what we do, and a few other things. But we kind of leave that out of the meeting so that we're all meeting on neutral ground. So you have business owners, you have all types of professionals, and you don't want to make it where it's not an environment where if a person doesn't feel like they want to be transparent,
right,
because they may feel they're in a group of guys who make more than them, or maybe their professionalism is at a higher quote unquote pay grade or standard than they may feel that they're on. So we leave all of that stuff out. That way, that brings about the transparency. Now I'm gonna go to where the rubber meets the road. We pray about it, and we try to make it a safe place, because we developed it because we want to help somebody. We never televise, we never record what goes on in those meetings, because it's private.
Right.
And men can hear. I always start off with me being transparent about something, and a lot of times what men see is, men are very critical. And they have to respect you. And if they look at you and they see, okay, we see this guy has accomplishments, but is he full of crap, or is he a real boy dog? What I mean by boy dog, do you have that dog you like? Are you a, not dog in meaning a womanizer? Well, now we say a dog, we talking about that tenacity, that real
man's man.
Not everybody's an alpha male. Let me clarify that too. Some guys are betas, and some, everybody don't have to be an alpha.
That's right.
But the ones that are the alphas, we don't want to be too overbearing. However, we'll show our transparency as well. And it has worked really well. We've been doing it now for like 4 years.
You've been
now.
doing it a while.
And, we meet every second Saturday of the month. And very, very, very effective.
And what have you noticed over the years with the group, like any type of changes, or how it has enhanced or shifted the men that are in the group?
Well, we have like an evolution of guys that, and the good part is you see guys matriculate through different journeys. Like, you'll see a guy, some of the guys might have been going through a certain amount of pain when he came in the group, and they were struggling through it. And then they got through that. And then now you see them matriculate into another set of issues, because that's just life. Right. Peaks and valleys, things happening, as you age and go through life, Yeah. So I guess you could say that I've seen guys go through healing process. Go through the healing process through different segments of their life. And that's gratifying, because a lot of them will say, hey man, this group helped me get through that. Now I'm gonna go even further. There's been a lot of tragedy that has happened with some of the men in the group while we've been in the group. And the good thing is we have a group chat, like text group. And like we've come together and have all, like, we've got together on Zoom calls before and all get together and pray over something.
That's awesome.
Or when we're in the group, we'll hold hands and pray about something. We've had guys collapse where there's something that has been bothering them since they were a little boy, and they have been acting out in different areas, and they didn't really know where that came from. But by talking in the group,
it came out.
We got down to the root of the problem, because what we do, and you know this, we compartmentalize different things, and we'll put it in a file. Okay, for instance, I've asked questions like this. How many men in the group have been handled inappropriately? Mm-hmm. Right? And you always get, oh man, nah, you know, because what most people think of when you think of a man being handled inappropriately or a boy, man. You think of another man or a boy doing something inappropriate. Mm-hmm. No. Mm-hmm. What's even more prevalent is men who've been handled inappropriate by older cousins, older women, in whatever capacity. The babysitter, the girl next door, the older cousin. And guess what? None of them really realized how much they had been exposed to stuff before their brain was even mature enough to even handle it, because they were mishandled by an older girl or older woman, which causes, in some cases, men to put women in a category of something that makes them feel good, something that can be used. And because they were exposed to too many things too fast or at too early of an age. Mm-hmm. So anyway, these are some of the things that we've talked about and we brought about and bring awareness to and have guys really think about it. And as one guy is being transparent, another one is listening, and they're like, wait a minute. And then that transparency brings about truth, which brings about healing.
That's right. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good stuff.
That is. And, you know, I commend you. I've always been really proud of the fact that you started that group. I've always felt like it was something necessary and needed. And I commend you that it's gone this long, that you're still doing it. I can tell too when I've seen some of your footage, some of the things that you've posted on YouTube, and I can tell you're passionate about it. Yes. That it's important to you. Yes. So that's awesome. Yes. So, you know, we've had a couple of episodes pertaining to relationships, men, women, family, Black family. Tonight, I really wanted to pick Keith's brain. He and I have had many a conversation about marriage and how we break down and how the communication breakdown happens and takes place. Mm-hmm. Keith and I have a lot in common. We've both been married twice. We have blended families. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, going through the divorce process and then also remarrying and then starting over, you start to realize certain things about yourself, and you also start to realize things about marriage and what it brings out. So I wanted to really find out tonight and kind of start the conversation as to what makes a man emotionally check out. Like when the communication starts to falter, what is going on inside of a man's mind and inside of a man's heart that contributes to the breakdown of the communication? I hear from a lot of my female clients, I don't know what happened. He just won't talk to me anymore. He talks to his friends more than he talks to me. He has a female coworker that he shares everything with or he talks to. I don't know what I did or I don't know what happened that made it where I am now like an outsider inside my marriage. So with that being said, got a couple of questions for you. Okay. First one, how, in your opinion, from the group, from your own experiences, from friends, how do you think it begins for a man to shut down, to start to check out? And what are some of the signs and behaviors that kind of are a telltale sign?
That the man is checked out? Mm-hmm,
that he's starting or he's beginning to.
I'm going to call it build a wall.
Okay.
It's kind of complicated because it depends on what area. There's different areas as well. Mm-hmm. And it really depends on the dynamic of the relationship and what kind of man it is. All right, for instance, certain men, and this is not to diminish what anybody does, because life's, and it gets hard no matter what you do.
That's right.
So you got certain guys who live more of a simple lifestyle. Mm-hmm. Meaning, you know, they have a job, which all jobs can be very taxing. Right. But, you know, they have different, you know, depending on the level of responsibility you have, depends on the dynamic of that man and what he's dealing with. Mm-hmm. So certain men have more responsibility and more going on than others.
Right.
However, that problem that you're speaking of is all the way across the board. So let me first say this. Most women don't understand men. And most men don't truly understand women.
Agreed.
What is it? Men are from
Mars, women are from Venus.
Exactly.
Right.
That's true all day.
Right.
And what I find is we don't take the time early on to study and really get to know our mates, especially if you're meeting people and you're already mature.
Okay.
So, for instance, when you met your high school sweetheart, right? There's a good chance you're going to get to know their family dynamic because, first of all, you're in high school, so your range is not that far. So probably the person that you're talking to is probably going to be from your community.
Right.
Or probably from your school or school in close proximity from your community.
Yeah.
So now you're going to actually interact with family, know the social groups. There's going to be a lot more in common. So you get to know more about the person.
Right.
As we get older and say, now we're mature, and like my second marriage, now I'm 40-something years old, right? So you're meeting people. And you know as well as I do, a lot of times you meet the representative.
Absolutely.
It takes about 90 days to really start to see the real person. Now, one thing I can say, I'm not just going to say women, because everybody can hold stuff and keep stuff secret.
Right.
And not really be transparent about everything.
Correct. Right.
Now, me, I'm pretty transparent. I've been accused of like telling too much of my business.
Okay.
But that's just who I am. That's why I do this show. Right?
Right.
Because I believe you can help people by being transparent.
Absolutely. You can't have real connection without it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
However, most people don't let you know all of this stuff, especially women.
Or you think women more so than men?
More so, I definitely know.
Why?
One, they don't want you to know true body counts, and you really don't want to know no body counts.
Okay.
I know I don't. And what does it really matter if you care for the person?
Right.
But people subdue their lifestyle. So now you really not getting a clear look, a clear vision as to what dynamic you're dealing with.
Okay.
Because you only get bits and pieces, right? I'm pretty transparent with my stuff. I mean, in this interview, I'm going to talk about me in some cases a lot because I know me. But
right.
And there are some men that are kind of recluse and kind of like guarded as well. But the question, how do you know?
Yeah, like what starts to happen?
When people start to check out, probably same like women do it too. But with men, first of all, you got to understand it takes more for a man to open up.
Correct.
Because what are we taught since we were little boys? Well, in my age bracket.
Right.
Now, that may not be as
Correct.
much now. Toughen up, little soldier. Roll your shoulders back. Don't cry. Don't show emotion. So you guard it, right? So it takes a lot for a man, like especially to open up about vulnerable things.
Right.
Their areas of vulnerability, right? So if you get this guy to start opening up and talking about stuff, and that comes from being confident in who you're with. A woman, I've said this before, a woman must never weaponize herself with that.
Now,
if you do that, that guy's going to shut down
explain
forever.
that. Please explain that.
What I mean by weaponize, men are very, 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 because we don't want to show weakness.
Right.
Especially alpha guys and leader guys. We don't want to show weakness, right?
Right.
But if we get vulnerable, because everybody has weaknesses. But if you actually discuss that with somebody, the last thing you want to happen, if an argument or people get upset or they just hit you with that and like use it as a tool to like hit you. Like, if you ever do that to a guy, that's the first step to the checkout.
Okay.
I'm
So
telling
he
you.
said, so I'm going to reiterate. He said when a woman weaponizes any information that she's gotten from the man,
Right,
and
from
then
being vulnerable.
and then from being vulnerable, from having intimate conversations, from having intimate dialogue,
Right.
and then she throws it back in his face,
Right.
or she basically outs him sometimes. Sometimes a woman will say something that was private in front of other people, or
Right.
or share something that she didn't have good boundaries, right?
Right.
Then that is like the beginning of a man feeling like he can't trust her, or feeling like I'm not protected, right? Okay.
Secondly, men, we like peace, right?
Mature men,
We don't like confrontation too tough, right?
right?
So what we'll do to avoid any of that, we'll just get quiet. When you're younger, you'll go head to head. You'll argue more, you'll fight more, all that. As you get older, you're like, man.
So yeah, what are you actually thinking when you go quiet? Like, what are some of the thoughts that you have?
You know, men, what we do is we go in our cave.
Right. Right.
Like, we'll take, okay, this is primal.
Okay.
Okay. Life, the atmosphere, your area, this is primal. Like, you go out, you got to go kill, gather, bring stuff home for the family, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's dangerous. You got to fight other tribes, other people, whatever predators out there, and you got to make it back home, right? So what is your cave is your castle.
Right.
Your cave is your place.
Safety.
That's your place of safety. That's your refuge. That's your sanctuary, right?
Okay.
Especially men who take care of business.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so if your sanctuary is now disrupted,
Right.
or you don't even feel safe there, you'll start to just be quiet because now you don't know where to go. Like,
Let
where
me
can
ask
I
you
get
this.
some?
I don't want to cut you off. I want you to hold that thought. But let me ask you this.
Right.
When a man gets quiet like that,
Yeah.
are his undertones now anger or irritation with the woman?
What most people don't know, and we've not been trained, especially as black men, to use all of our emotions.
That's right.
Our default, you know this from your training.
Right.
Our default is anger.
Yeah. Anger's the top
You're
emotion.
confused.
Yeah.
We feel comfortable with that one. We confused, angry. We're hurt, anger. That's our first default in most cases. Now, some people, depending on how they were raised and how the dynamic of the household was, they've learned to use the other emotions
Mm-hmm.
that you should use
Mm-hmm.
versus anger.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times when we do that, we're just saying, hey man, I don't need this. I'm going to avoid the rah, rah, rah. So in your mind, you're just like, I'm just trying to get away from that. And you start, and this is very dangerous ground. Now you start to internalize.
Mm-hmm.
And
Tell-
that's when
tell
you
me-
fall
tell me
back
about
in your
that.
cave. Like if your home was your cave and now you can't go to your cave.
So then you're going to go somewhere else.
Right. So you're going to start, and that's dangerous for men. This is why men commit suicide. Because if they don't, that's why I have the group.
But this is also, too, ladies, how men start to have other homes to
Right.
go to.
So a lot of times it might not even be you're doing something or having no affair or nothing. You could like pick somebody on the job. That's your go-to person.
Yeah.
Okay, Torre, you were my go-to person.
Right.
For a long time.
Right.
When we worked out there at the gym,
Yeah.
you were my go-to person.
Yeah.
Like we talked about everything.
Right.
Right. We had nothing going on. We just friends. We were
Right.
like brothers and sisters. Right.
Right.
So you're gonna find someone in that capacity.
Right. Somebody that makes you feel safe. Somebody that makes you feel heard and seen.
Yes.
You know, I was
Yes.
speaking to a client who has a bunch of male friends. And she got to talking to them. She's dating a younger man. And they were basically sharing with her, like, women don't understand the power that they have, and how once a man feels that he can't be a hero or he can't be the good guy anymore, that at that point, he just kind of throws his hands up and says, well, I might as well do whatever, or I might as well just, like you say, like I said, emotionally check out because you don't believe in me anymore.
Big deal. Women, if you don't get anything else from this, take this. We want your feminine. The Lord God Almighty gave you a superpower, and your superpower is in your feminine. A real dude don't want to do, he wants a feminine. He even says it in the Bible.
Yeah.
He wants a woman's soft voice. You all are born to be nurturers. Now, I get it because it's our fault in a lot of cases. I'm talking about men who have not stepped up to the plate, who have left women out there vulnerable, who don't have their covering, and they've had to have the masculine side because there's nobody else to watch over them and keep them. I get that. But when you do get that, I don't know how to tell you to do this, but you got to switch. When you do get the covering, when you do get a dude who stands in the gap, you got to let him lead. Look, T.D. Jakes said it the best. He said it. We're the type guys, we're like this. We want to be the superhero. You could say, honey, you say you getting the bags out of the car from grocery shopping. You say, the man grab a bag. Ooh, you so strong. I just love, man, I got me a strong man. That man's going to grab 2 or 3 bags, almost hurt his back. Be like, man, that ain't nothing. I can get all these bags. That woman that's used her feminine.
Yeah.
We will turn the world over for you in your feminine.
But I'm going to say this.
Don't handle us like your girlfriend.
Well,
you can't be that.
See, here's the thing, though, and you said something that I think is dead on. Like the femininity that men are looking for at this time. And ladies, if I'm wrong, forgive me, but from my experience, professionally and personally, there are a lot of women, mothers now, that are not teaching their daughters to be feminine.
You're exactly right.
Right? They're not teaching their daughters how to emote as a soft being in a relationship. They don't see it.
Because they look at it as being weak.
They look at it as being weak. They also look at it, and I want to talk about this a little bit. They also look at it as we've done that for men, and they've left us, they've cheated, they've abandoned us. So I'm not doing that anymore.
Yes, our fault. We do it. Yep.
And so what I want to speak to that is, first of all, there needs to be a better selection and a better dating protocol to choose a good man. That's the first thing. And then the second thing is to realize that when a man and a woman come together and decide that they want to be together and that they have a journey or a mission, whatever, roles are necessary. Without roles, there is no corporate job, no entrepreneurial job. There is no organization that is successful that does not have definitive roles.
Yep.
Marriage is a contract. Marriage is nothing more than a business. And so when you go into that business, you don't have a business plan. You don't have roles. You don't have definitive understanding as to, I need this and you need that, and this makes me feel good and that makes... So now we don't have clarity. And so now we're just talking at each other and we're winging it. Very few things in life are successful from winging it.
Right.
Period. So going back to teaching a woman or modeling to a woman, like, this is how you love a man. This is how you support a man. Even down to if a woman decides to stay after a man has cheated, having older women to say, this is how you forgive a man. I think that we, in particularly our community, we have a curse once the infidelity happens. There's a certain way we start to act. There's a certain way that we start to exclude, overlook. We start to shut down, and we coexist in the chaos. We don't decide, oh, let's go get some help and really elevate and learn to communicate all over again. We stay in this destructive type of communication now.
Right.
Now, I don't want to get too far away from our topic. Let me go back.
Did I even answer your question? Because
Yes,
it's
broad.
It's so much. It's so broad. It's a lot.
But I do think, I mean, so the first thing that you did say was, weaponization, and then lack of safety, lack of trust.
Right.
But what I did also want you to kind of expound on was, once it happens and you have an irritation or anger towards your mate, what's going on inside the man? I mean, is he at this point, because this is I'm gonna say this. So I was married before.
Right.
You know what that turned out to be and how that ended.
Right.
There was a time, I'm gonna be very transparent here, in my first marriage. So basically, most people get married because they fall in love and they adore each other, and the language is affirming, and the language is productive, and the language is loving. At some point in the relationship, our language became very critical.
Right.
Now, John Gottman, who is like a guru of couples, he and his wife, Laura Gottman, they have a love bank or love tank out in Seattle. I've actually worked under them. He has what's called the 4 horsemen of apocalypse. And that's when the language goes bad. So what happens first? Defensiveness. Then stonewalling. Well, I did that because you did that. Then after that, criticism. And then the last one is contempt. What happens a lot of times once an affair happens or betrayal, the language goes straight to criticism, defensiveness, and contempt. Right?
Right.
So once a man, and I'm asking this question, once a man starts to feel emotionally alone and disconnected from his wife, and he's angry, how is he thinking inside of himself as to engage with this woman? Because they're still married.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So what is the process? What's going on?
You got several different situations. It depends on the personality of the man. There are a lot of men that are passive.
Right.
Right? That's the one you'll see. That's Uncle so-and-so or Grandpa who just sunk down and became a shell of who he was. And that said, I'm just going to be here. I'm just going to subdue myself. These are the men that are emasculated. Wow. Even if they might have made a mistake by being ridiculed and persecuted in that, he becomes emasculated to where he becomes a shell of himself.
And we said those are like the henpeck men?
Well, some of them, I don't know if I want to call it that, but you just give up. And that's the guy. He'll have his easy chair. He'll let himself go. And all he's going to have control of is that remote, the game, and maybe his yard or something like that. And he'll just bury himself in that.
What is that like for a man? Like,
well, that's not me.
Right. But
so
when you talk to
I would never do that because that's not my personality.
Right.
I'm not that. Everybody will meet and try to subdue themselves down to try to make things work. But certain people will only go so far.
Right.
Some guys just go all the way there, and that's where they'll be, and they'll just die. They'll be the guy that just dies. You see Big Mama and them in the kitchen, they'll be laughing and cackling and having a great time. But the old man, he's just sitting in the chair and he's just lonely.
Nothing to say.
Nothing to say. He's just a shell. He's just waiting to die. All the things that made him a man are now gone. And I'm going to tell you something. A lot of times women will try to do that and make you that and make it where they can rule over you and just make you be that thing that just they're ruled over. You just do what you said, jump how high, and that's what you'll be, and you'll stay because you might not want to give up what you have, and you'll just. But that's just something. They're different personalities. Some guys will just leave. Some guys will leave. They'll be like, "I'm done. I'm out. I don't care what. I'm out." It depends on the guy. So it depends on the man's personality. But I'm gonna tell you. Once a man feels like he's not the superhero, I'm going to tell you, once he feel like you're not effective, like I have no more use here. Like men
Men need to be needed.
We have to be needed. All
Yeah.
people need to be needed.
Yes.
But especially like certain kinds of men, like if I'm be transparent. If I feel that I'm not wanted, or you don't need me, or you don't care about, I have no more use there. And that's not just in a relationship. That's in anything.
Situation, right?
If I'm not bringing anything to the table, I've resigned from boards before because I didn't feel I could be effective because of what, baby. Like when I was going through my divorce, I was on 2 boards. I was on a state level and a national level. I resigned from both of those boards because I didn't feel that I was bringing my part to the table.
Let's look at that a little bit. What did that divorce do to you as a man? Like, what were some of the lessons, but also some of the valleys and the challenges?
It ripped me apart. Even though I had a lot to do with the divorce.
Right.
I had my wrongdoing in it, but there was other wrongdoings too. But because I'm the man, I'm gonna take responsibility.
Right.
All right. But what it did, it ripped the section out of you, and it changes you. It takes a lot to get past that. Both people, when you rip apart, there's some flesh that goes along with the other person.
Absolutely.
I'm not even gonna get into the financial stuff because to me, if I did it once, I'll do it again.
Right.
I have the knowledge. As long as I have my health and strength and my mindset, I'll be back.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So not even talking about the financial part of it. But with me, the hardest part was I had 2 daughters. And that was when a very critical time, and they were young teenagers. And I know that affected them. And that haunts me right now to this day. That is one of the demons that I fight to this day.
Because you believe what?
I know that did something to them to where I robbed them of some peace at a very critical time in their life. Because I couldn't get it together and we couldn't make it work when it was very critical to our children. That was selfish.
And one of the things that I kind of want to ad-lib here to women pertaining to this topic, I think a lot of women really think that men just don't care. I think a lot of women feel like men are so self-centered and so focused that if it's a lack of sex or a lack of a pretty face around, but I think many women reduce men just to the physical and not even understand.
We're emotional just like you are.
This is a human experience for 2 people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And for some reason, we get married and we become so fixated on our need. I need this.
Right.
That we stop thinking about what our mate needs or what our mate is going through.
That's right.
And so even going back to my first marriage, there was a time towards the end when we were really having problems. This was a man that really pursued me, chased me, made me feel like I was the only person that he, and we got so far from that. And I tell couples this all the time. The most successful marriages are one in which the husband continuously pursues the wife and the wife continuously affirms the husband.
Man, that's good stuff.
When that
affirmation,
when
man,
that
stops,
big deal. Yeah, men love to feel like the man, and
Yes.
women love to feel like I'm desirable.
Yes.
That you want me, even
Yes.
at my lowest, you want me,
Right,
right?
right.
So when the talking stops,
Right.
you can no longer get those needs met.
No.
Right? So he no longer feels like the hero. He no longer feels like I'm all she needs. And she no longer feels like he desires her. He wants her.
Right.
And so then the language starts to get further and further and further and further. That's why a lot of times in the psychological world, they say sex is the last to go. Because a lot of times you can fight, but you're still hot for each other. So you jump into bed, you have
Depends
sex,
on the person.
and it burns out. But
Depends
as you
on the person.
age and become a mature person,
Right.
the sex stops. It doesn't
about
get
it.
it anymore.
You don't care about that.
You don't care about it as much. You're
Right.
looking for respect. You're looking for connection. You're looking for the things that make you feel. Ladies, this is so important.
Please tell them.
Just like you want to be with someone that makes you feel like yourself, that makes you feel the most like yourself. Like when you with your girls and you're like, oh, I can be myself. You want that from your man and your man wants that from you. Like it is paramount. But what happens is we start learning to push buttons. Well, I can't get your attention this way, so I'm going to do these things. And they're counterintuitive. They're counterproductive.
Yes.
Right? All right.
That's deep.
Let me ask you this. What are some of the thoughts and internal dialogue that men have before the communication and the sex starts to go?
Usually you'll try to communicate what's going on, right?
And how does that look?
Depends on it depends on the dynamic of the relationship, and it depends on the people. I'm gonna tell you what I hear a lot from a lot of men.
That's what I want.
When you try to go and discuss these things, it's critical. You're on the edge to where you like, man, I'm about to check up out of here, either emotionally or physically or both. And you try to communicate, they just blow you off. Like, again, like it's
Give me
almost
an example of that.
You said it right. Like sometimes it don't seem as though like somebody forgot to tell everybody that men have feelings too. For instance, I've said this before. I'm responsible for a lot of people. And I'm a strong guy. But sometimes we want somebody to be like, hey, you all right? How are you today? Because we're always out trying to fix the world. We're trying to solve the issues. I was explaining this the other day. The way my brain works is when I hear something, my brain is already starting to work on what is the short-term resolve, what's the long-term resolve, what are we dealing with? I'm processing all of these factors because my mind is designed to fix something. We are truly made in God's image. When we hear something, I'm talking about real dudes. Now, I'm not talking about the sorry ones that lay back and don't do nothing to let the woman No. The ones who really try to stand in the gap and be there and do what we need to do. Somehow or another, somewhere down the line, someone forgot to tell people that men have feelings too. We want to feel desired like you do. We want to express ourselves. We may express it differently because we don't want to, remember, we don't want to seem weak.
Right.
So a lot of times we might want to say something or deal with something, but we'll pull back and we might throw out signs and hopefully you'll kick in and like pick up on them.
Tell me the signs. Tell me what it looks like.
One of the signs is we'll get quiet.
So, okay.
We won't say what's going on with us, get quiet and go to our cave, stay to ourselves.
But
we know something's wrong with us, right? And, now we're looking for that feminine part. Come in, hey, baby, what's going on? Like, you can't, like, roll up on us like a dude. Like, you can't handle me like a dude. You're not a dude.
Right.
I can't handle you like a dude. Because I might bust you in your mouth. You're a woman. I can't do that.
He said
certain stuff we'll tolerate from a woman that we won't tolerate from a dude.
I understand that.
Like, certain things I don't even discuss with a dude. Like, no, I'm going to walk away. At this point, I'm going to walk away. But back in the day, you might get something done to you. But a woman, we got to try to talk it out and discuss it. But if you're not hearing us or you blow us off.
So let me add something to that, Keith.
Right.
So I share this with my couples a lot. When you get to a place in your relationship where you are no longer able to hear each other, and what does that look like? That even in our best intentions, we end up in an argument.
Yes.
That we set up date night and we go on a date and it's a disaster. That we decide to have a romantic night and instead of having sex, we end up in two different rooms. These are all telltale signs that we're no longer hearing each other.
Right.
One of the easiest ways to bridge into conversation is through text. I tell my couples all the time, stop trying to talk to each other cold. Send a text so that your sentiment can come through, because typically what we spend a lot of time with, what we engage a lot with, we become numb to it. So a lot of times, I'll give an example. when I was a little girl and my grandparents were married, and I would watch them, and they had gotten to that place in their marriage where they talked around and at each other, not to each other. You could hear it. You could hear in the tone of the voice, things would land and not, things would fall but not land. They wouldn't take root. And so a lot of times we become desensitized to our mate's voice, their nonverbals. We start to see an eye rolling or a sucking of the teeth or clenching of the fist, and we automatically start to assume things rather than getting fact.
Right.
When you get to that place in a relationship, you need to take one of these and you need to send out a text from the place that you are, and make sure you write it and then edit it and then read it again and then edit it and then send it. But what you're doing is you are setting a different tone so that your partner can hear you, right? Most of the time we get to a place where we stop trying to actually land into a conversation, right? So we just start talking at each other and we start saying little things to push each other's buttons, and the conversation gets further and further and further and further apart, right?
Right.
I've even told couples, like, if you want to talk, if you're going to have a argument and you want to resolve it, instead of saying, hey, can we talk? Or, you know, we need to talk. Like, men usually hate to hear a woman say we need to talk.
Yeah, because see, now
I'm wondering, what did I do wrong?
it's always, we get to the point we say, what's wrong now? It's always something.
Right?
Like,
But if a
what's
woman,
now what is? Now
but if a couple knew, and this is another tool I give couples. Just like we sit down and pay bills, we sit down and we plan vacations, we sit down and talk about educating our kids, we sit down and talk about caregiving for our parents. Why do we not come together once a month to talk about the marriage? I call it red table talk, right? Once a month.
That didn't work out so well with Will Smith and Jada.
Well,
She told him to suck at the table. Lord have mercy.
but I tell clients, you need to have table talk. You need to have a set day. You need to have a set day of the month that you sit down, not in anger. You sit down and you say, hey, how do you think this went?
Dr. Torre,
You don't think that works?
it's not going to work in most cases.
Why? In most cases, it works for a lot of my couples.
Because usually you're just going to get what you don't do. You're just going to be like everything you're not.
No. One of the things that I do with them is
I
give them guidelines, and I always tell them,
look, man,
three things.
If I ain't this, I'm not that. What do you like? What you doing? Like, you need to get with that person that makes you like, I'm a loser according to you. If I got to keep hearing I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm just saying, I hear these guys are saying this all the time. So what they do, they just check out. And then when the woman start talking, they just be like, all right.
Let me ask you this.
They just be like, all right.
They
just be all right. They don't say all right. All right.
Do most of the men that you talk to feel like, I've heard this a lot, that men take ownership of their issues, but women don't? That women don't take accountability?
Hey, look. There's two sets of rules.
Our producer just set up like what you say.
None, man.
Really? None?
Especially if you responded in a negative way. Oh, it negates. Just like in the structure of a sentence.
Give me an example.
A however and a comma, it negates everything before the conjunction.
However.
It's called a conjunction.
Right.
Anything after that conjunction that happened before is negated. So it don't matter what I did to make you respond. It don't matter. Can't talk about that.
So, okay.
So you like, well, how are we going to get to the bottom of it and fix it when you won't take no responsibility for your part? But you only focusing on my part.
Well, I also feel like, too, that when the woman doesn't take responsibility, it makes the man just stop owning anything himself as well. It's like, you're not going to admit your stuff, so I'm not going to admit, I'm not coming to the table anymore.
I'm going to justify his stuff.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm
Justification.
tell you what happens. And it's in a large amount of things. Like, you get a lot with like blended families.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, like, one is real tough. The blended family thing, right?
It is.
If there's a boy, Like if that woman has a son, it don't even have to be blended. It could be your biological son.
That's true.
The women will make that son like their companion, and now they'll gang up on the man. And like the man, they'll push the man, like the man has no, it'll get out of control. Like the man will be totally emasculated. That woman will gang up with that son. That son does no wrong. You say anything to the son, trying to make the son a man.
I've heard
big
that.
problem.
I've heard that. I can also attest to it's also difficult too when you blend in the family and the new wife is dealing with the daughter of the husband.
That's difficult too.
That's difficult too.
That
Like whenever
tough.
you're talking
that was
about
tough
those,
with mine.
whenever you're talking about those opposing,
That's rough too.
It is. It's rough. It's just
Yeah.
rough because nobody knows their role.
Right.
Right. So everybody's trying to find their place. Everybody's
fighting
trying
for their position.
They're fighting
man.
for their position. Everybody's afraid that there's not enough love to go around.
And the man is just confused because you're trying to bring all this together and you don't know how to handle it, especially if it's a bunch. Like in my case, I had a whole bunch of, I had 2 daughters and a wife. You got all these women.
That's how
Even
my
at the
husband-
point I had
that's
girl
how my husband-
dogs, even the dogs, everything.
That's how my husband feels. Like he's in a
Man,
house
he's
full
like,
of women.
man, house full of women.
It's hard, but you know what though?
And you in the middle, you holding on for dear life because you trying to balance and it gets out of hand.
So share this with me.
Yes.
Share this for the listeners.
Okay.
What are the main emotions men feel when they can no longer communicate with their wife? Because I will say this, I'm gonna share this with you. I'll be transparent. For women, you feel hopeless.
Yep. Same.
You feel isolated.
Same.
You feel taken for granted.
Big. That's a big one.
All right, so let's hear it.
Everything you said, see, that's what women don't understand. We're the same way. We just act out differently.
So tell me how a man acts when he feels hopeless.
He's going to find somebody else to talk to or bottle it up inside. It depends on the person. I'm telling you, that's why men get most men, I'm telling you right now, are walking around in some state of depression.
And you think that's around their relationships more than anything else? 100%?
Yeah, I'm saying, I don't know about the other cultures, but in the black culture,
You think so?
it's because we have both not been properly taught how to manage our positions in a relationship. And it's jacked up. The men feel like they're not appreciated, like they're becoming emasculated. It's just
Okay, I know you're going to say, because you said this quite a bit, it depends on the man, and I get that.
Yeah.
But what are just a few things a woman can do to make a man feel appreciated?
To be continued. Click the link below to watch part 2 of Silence of a Man. And remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. See you next time.
The Power Up with Keith Withrow Show is sponsored by Motor Coach Consulting International. Excellence in ground transportation.